In this tutorial, we'll be learning how to use text boxes. This is a pretty common feature in many games, so it's important that we know how to do this. You can start with any game, really. I'll just start with a top-down game, so T02, and we'll make a copy and open that up. So I have my player here, and player just moves around the level. Now I need to have some way to trigger the text box to appear, and so that can take different forms. For me, I'll just make another object for the player to collide with. It could be like a signpost or whatever. You could make an area 2D. In fact, I'll make an area 2D. And so let's do a new scene, area 2D. We'll give it a sprite, and we'll give it a collision shape. And it can be anything. You don't have to have a sprite. It could just be like an invisible area that as long as the player goes there, it triggers it, whatever you want. I'll just give it the default icon there. And collision shape, I'll just make the same shape as that thing. And I'll just rename this as the sign. This is the sign that my player is going to bump into. We'll save it first, and then we'll add it to the level using the chain sign. Okay, so which one is the player and which one is the sign? Let's make the sign a different color just so I know which one is which. Okay, so there's my sign, and we'll put it right there. So when the player collides with the sign, that will trigger something. Let's add to the level. We'll add a child canvas layer. And that canvas layer is going to have a child, and we'll do a panel. So a panel is just basically a box where it can hold some text. We can use the anchors to put it where we want. Middle, yeah, let's do middle, I guess. And I might want this to be, much bigger, so we can change the size. So this is in, let's see, it's in layout, and we got transform. So we can open transform, and we get size in here, so we can go, say, 400 by 400 or something like that. Okay, just resetting anchor to middle again. Actually, maybe we want it a little bit wider, so we say 800. Okay, so here we go. Another thing that you might want to use is the theme overrides. So that's down here, theme overrides. And that pops up styles, so we can go into styles. And in panel, it's right now empty, and we can choose new style box flat. You can do a style box texture if you have some kind of graphic that you've created to put your text on. I don't have that, so I'll just go flat, and that just gives me, a blank square. But I will now be able to change things about that square. So if I click on the style box right there, and it gives me all these options: background color, change the color, and skew, I guess that's kind of the angle. Border width, so you could have a border. So you can see I got a border here. Go 20 on every side. Something like that. Corner radius. And so if you do, say, 50 corner radius, that will give you a little radius on the corner there. Anyways, you can explore the different options there, just to show you that there's different things that you can do here to customize the appearance of this box. You can save the style if you want. Just by going save as, and then that just becomes a resource that you have, teal blue panel or whatever it is. And so that just appears down there. And so the next panel that you make, you can just drag in this thing over here that you've saved into the style box. All right, so panel is just the background. We still need the text, so we'll add another child. This is a child of the panel, and this will be a label. We've used labels before, so this is nothing new. But yeah, basically here is your first quest or something like that. We can use the anchor buttons to anchor them. So because this is a child of the panel, so label is a child of the panel, so the anchors are working within the panel. So that's why it doesn't go to like the corners up here and here. It's going into the corners of the panel, or if I put middle, then it's going to the middle of the panel. And that's it. So you probably want to change the font and the size. The default is very small and maybe it doesn't look as nice as you would like it to look. You do have to bring in your own fonts into Godot. So let's bring up some Googling. Font free font, whatever. And there's tons of websites that you can find. Just go to the first one here. And I don't know. Let's get this one. It's quite nice. Download. So it's downloading. We'll open that file. It's in my downloads folder. Nesto Copper 42. I'm just going to unzip it, extract all. And so let's see, here it is. Wait, where is it? Ah, here we go. It's a TrueType font file. So it's a TTF file. You could also use Open Font, what's it called? OTF? Open True Font or something. Open Type Font. Yeah, whatever it is. So any of these font files should be fine. So what you'll do is you'll drag it into Godot. Like so. There it is. Go to my label, the inspector, and there should be a font thing somewhere in here. It's probably in theme overrides. Here it is, fonts. And right now it's empty. I want to do a new font file. Can drag that in to the font. So now it's in that font. And I can go to font size and I can like increase the size. Let's say 50. And so there it is. I think what happened is my font is too big to fit onto the screen. So maybe I can put it onto 2 lines up in the text. Oh, it's all squished together. I'm not sure if that's intentional. Let me make the font smaller. 24. Interesting. Alright, I did a little bit of investigation offline, and what I need to do actually is go back to that font. Okay, so I'm in the label, and in the inspector of the label, in theme overrides, in fonts, and instead of going neofont file, I'm going to go neofont variation. And I click on new font variation, and that brings up this box. And so I have a spot for my base font, and I'm going to drag this thing into base font like that. And now I have some things that I can do with it, including the spacing. And so I'm going to increase some of this spacing so that it looks right. Glyph, it looks like that, and maybe top and bottom. And there it goes. So now it looks, more correct. At this point, my sign looks about how I want. And so I'm going to set this panel to invisible. So the panel is going to be invisible. Just click the eyeball there so everything goes away. And now I need to make a script to make it appear when I touch the sign. So I'm going to go to my level and make a script for my level. And in the script for the level, I'm going to put a signal for the sign. And I'm going to put a body entered. And that's going to connect with my level.gd. And so now I have this function in my level. And in this function, I'm going to grab my panel. There's my panel, dot, and then visible equals true. And then I'm going to grab another signal from my sign. And this time it's body exited. And I'll connect that to the level. And there it is. And then I'm going to make it false. All right, let's run it. And I move over to the sign. Go on the sign, and there appears the text box. Move out of the sign, text box disappears. You can do lots of other things, of course. You can put some kind of key binding so that if this triggers, so on body entered, before you make it true, you can have an if statement saying if, whatever is pressed, input is pressed. So you have to make it input and stuff. Anything that you want to happen, there's probably a way to do that. But this is the very basic of the whole thing. So that will be it for this text box tutorial. So see you in the next one.